I've searched through Amazon looking for the best rated grow tents that I could find. Not only did I look at how many stars they had, but I also looked at how many reviews in general they had. I'm about to show you my top 5 grow tents that I recommend on Amazon. The first one we're talking about today is the Vivosun 36 inch by 36 inch by 72 inch. That comes out to about 3 feet by 3 feet by 6 feet. This tent is going to work great for somebody that wants to grow 1, maybe 2 plants indoors. Just kind of dipping your toes into growing indoors just to kind of see what it's all about. This tent is pretty much light proof. You're not going to have too much light spilling out from it as long as you have your windows sealed up, all of your zippers done up, everything like that. This tent is made out of 600D canvas and metal poles as well, just to keep everything nice and sturdy. The canvas is actually pretty high quality, especially for a mid-range tent. Diamond reflective mylar gives us about 98% reflectiveness on the inside. So once you have your lights in there, all that light's going to kind of move around and your plants are going to get plenty of light while they're in there. This comes with 6-inch dual layer ventilation holes. Comes with this little inner tool pouch thing, and it has a fully waterproof removable floor tray, which is very, very nice. This tent weighs about 20.7 pounds, which isn't too bad. You can move that around pretty easily by yourself. And for the important stuff, at the time of this recording, this tent has 4.5 out of 5 stars on Amazon with 2,165 ratings. Right now, this tent is coming in at $105.99. Real quick, you can find links down in the description for every grow tent we talk about here today. The next one we're going to talk about today is the Vivosun 48 by 24 by 60. This is kind of the next step up. This is for people that want to just get a little bit more serious about growing indoors. I personally grew with this when I first lived in an apartment, and I was able to grow probably about 4 pepper plants in there to maturity. Yes, I had to keep them kind of trimmed up and keep them small, but I was able to get full harvest off of 4 pepper plants. If you're just doing starts, you can do quite a few more than that. This has everything that the other Vivosun had as far as the ventilation holes go, as far as the diamond reflective mylar goes. Comes with the same 600D canvas. Really overall just a pretty high quality tent. Still pretty easy to move around. This tent weighs about 20 pounds. This also comes with the same removable floor tray, which I can't tell you enough how awesome that thing is. Comes with the same floor tray, really high quality zippers. This one comes in at $99.99, so $100 at the time of this recording, and it has 4.6 out of 5 stars with 7,220 ratings. The next one is going to be another Vivosun. No, I'm not sponsored by Vivosun. This one is the 4 foot by 4 foot by 6.5 foot. Now this is where you can really start getting some full-size plants in your grow tent. You've got plenty of space with the 4 feet by 4 foot range. That's when stuff starts getting really fun when you're growing indoors. This is really when you're taking it from just kind of dabbling in growing indoors and you're like, okay, let's get serious about this. Let's see what we can do. This is where it starts taking over your winter life. Once again, this is like the other Vivosun models. It keeps in all the light as long as you have the windows on and the doors closed, all of your vents sealed up real nice. It's going to hold the light in really well. All of these Vivosuns also come with a little tool pouch that they have on the inside. I use them sometimes. Normally I put my thermometers and humidity reader things in there. This one's starting to get a little bit heavier. This is a little over 37 pounds, 4 foot by 4 foot. You're probably going to need help putting it together as well as moving it around once it's fully built. This has 4.5 out of 5 stars with, you ready for this? 9,605 ratings. That's incredible. That's that's a lot of ratings. This tent isn't much more than the other tents we talked about so far. This one is about $120 at the time of this recording. If you can, definitely opt for the 4 foot by 4 foot tent if you have the space, if you're deciding between that one and the 4 foot by 2 foot. With the next couple tents that I'm going to talk about, the ratings kind of dropped down a little bit, but when I kind of started looking into it, the ratings were dropping because people were upset at how hard it was to put them together. The next tent on the list is actually my current grow tent, the one that I have been using for 3 years. I'm telling you right now, if it wasn't for my wife, it would still be in the box, or it would still just be this hump of canvas just sitting in my grow room because I was so frustrated trying to put this thing together. And then my wife kicked me out of the room and she built it herself and she did totally fine. So if you have patience, it's not too hard. So real quick, every tent on this list is a Vivosun tent. I didn't do that on purpose. I did that by looking at the reviews and the price and kind of balancing that with the tents that are twice this price and what the quality of those are compared to these. I'm being 100% honest when I say that I don't feel like you need to spend hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of dollars on a grow tent when you could spend a couple $100s and get pretty much the same quality. Vivosun has amazing quality and I definitely stand by them because I've been using them ever since I started growing indoors, but they are on this list based on the reviews I found on Amazon. This one is going to be the Vivosun 8 foot by 4 foot by 6.5-ish foot. It's the 96 inch by 48 inch by 80 inch. This is the tent that I currently use. I've been using it for 3 years. I love everything about this tent. It has 2 doors in the front, 2 doors in the back. The canvas on it is amazing. It's got the little pocket where I can put my tools and my little thermometer. It's got the bottom that comes out that I can wash real well, especially after the season. As soon as I move all my plants outside, I'm gonna be rinsing out that bottom tray, and it's easy when I can just remove it out of the tent altogether. This also comes with the same 600D canvas as all these other tents come with. The diamond reflective mylar, all of it, the whole 9 yards. All of these tents are gonna have the same basic features. They're just gonna be different sizes. Maybe 1 or 2 extra ventilation ports. Definitely on these bigger tents, they're gonna have more doors. You're gonna have dual doors rather than just 1 door. Now this is getting to where it's not really easy to move on your own. It's about 46 pounds, and when you're looking at a tent that's 8 feet long by 4 foot wide, that's a big tent. I mean, I can move it, I can kind of scoot it around, but if I have any plants on the inside of this thing, I'm not really able to move it. So when you build this, build it right where you're going to use it, and don't plan on moving it unless you're going to tear it down and put it in its little carrying bag and take it elsewhere. At the time of this recording, this has 4.4 stars with 2,422 ratings. There's less people opting for tents that are this big, I would imagine, because they don't have the space. But if you do have the space, get a tent this big. You're not going to regret it. Just spend the extra money, because I made a DIY tent, and then I bought a 4'2" tent, and then I had to go buy this tent because realistically none of those other ones had the growing room that I needed, and this is what I've had for the last few years, and I absolutely love this thing. The price for this comes in at about $200 at the time of this recording, which, yes, you're starting to get a little bit pricey, but you're gonna pay this one time and it's gonna last you for years and years and years. Real quick, if you're liking this video, go ahead and hit the like button, and that's gonna tell YouTube you like the video, and then YouTube will show it to other people that might also like the video. It's gonna help me out a lot, and I really appreciate it. This last one on the list is the Vivosun 96" by 96" by 80". This is a massive tent, and this isn't even as big as they get. This is just the biggest one on this list. This is 8 feet by 8 feet. You can just grow an entire garden in this thing. If you really get into this hobby and you really get into growing indoors, absolutely, and you have the room, absolutely go for a tent this size. This is gonna have the 2 doors in the front, 2 doors in the back, just like the 8 foot by 4 foot one, which kind of gives you some flexibility on kind of where you put the tent, where you position it. And then when you go in, it's easy to, if I need to go in on this side, I can go in on this side. If I need to go on that side, I can go on that side. I don't just have one central door, and then I have to kind of stumble over things as I try to work in there. They give you plenty of room to work from outside of the tent, and this is gonna have everything that the other Vivosun ones have. This is just a much larger scale. This one is 86.8 pounds, which is pretty heavy, and like I said, it's massive. You're looking at 8 feet by 8 feet. Definitely build this one wherever you are planning on using it. I will say that when you get into this size, it is very, very hard to find tents that have a lot of reviews on them. This one was one of the most reviewed ones, and it only had 191 reviews on it. It does have 4.2 out of 5 stars with the 191 ratings. I did kind of dig into it, and yes, a lot of people are just really upset about how hard it is to put together. They do give you instructions, and as long as you follow them and you have some patience, it's not too hard. There are definitely tents that are bigger than this and smaller than this. If you want to see some of those tents, just let me know in the comments, and I can probably make a video on some of the jumbo tents or some of the micro tents. And go ahead and watch this video if you're on the fence about building a DIY tent compared to buying one on Amazon. This video might be able to help you out with your decision.